Okay, you got it?
Yeah,
All right. Do you know what you're giving away?
I do. I'm giving away a poster for trivia
Yeah, definitely a poster.
and a magline for your appreciation and stickers for what's more.
That's it. That's what we're giving away tonight. And you know the answer to the
I do. To the trivia,
the answer to the trivia?
I do.
All right now.
Do you know the answer?
I don't even know the question.
Oh, you better know the question.
I know one thing. It's 6 o'clock and I got to start the show.
You do.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
What do we open with? Music usually? Something. Turn on something.
I'm Jerry Maddox.
And I'm Ryder Maddox in sunny California.
And you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, hosted by Joe Abbate.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, and I am your host, Joe Abbate. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. As always, my partner in, well, I don't want to say crime, but, well, there might have been a few misdemeanors committed along the way in 39 years. How's everything going, Suze?
Everything's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What else? You got the things all picked out for the giveaway.
I have trivia. I have your appreciation. I have what's it worth prizes.
And you got dinner on the stove.
And I have dinner on the stove. Fresh bread.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So he was making fresh bread. That was a sight. You should have seen me putting the dough in a bag. My kitchen skills are zero. I can cook a little, though. But
you can cook, but when it comes to...
I don't like to be with anybody else in the kitchen. It's kind of like when I work on a tank. I work alone. All right? That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I want to mention it here, and I'm going to mention it at the end of the show, too. It's right around the corner. It's almost August. So September, October, next thing you know, it'll be here, Northern California Motocross Reunion, October 18th. Now, what you want to do is you want to get over to Road to Recovery. Go over to their website, and you'll find out more about this amazing charity event. And if you look on this list, I mean, come on, guys. David Bailey, Roger DeCoster, the Fox Brothers, Brock Glover, Billy Grossi, Lackey, Rapp, Richter, Daryl Schultz, Dana Waxham, Steve Simons, and of course, I told you last week, confirmed, Jeff Ward. So, oh, and I'm the MC. I know. That's the best they could do. It's a charity event. That's what you get when you don't pay people. You get me. All right. Anyway, I hope you could be there. It's going to be a wonderful time. There's golf, there's mountain biking, and a lot of other cool stuff happening as well. In the meantime, I want to thank all of our sponsors, including Racer X, International Motocross Museum, Motion Pro, Bultaco East, Vinco, Preston Petty Products, Full Circle, and of course, Amsoil. Now, I have done something that I've never done before. And, well, let's look at it. You can become a sponsor on Vintage Motocross Q&A for this $245 a month. I'm sorry, $250 a month, $249.95. Your logo would go there amongst Motion Pro, International Motocross Museum, and all the other people as well. If you do notice, Vinco is not on there, sadly. We know that the passing of Curtis Leverton, I think, has made things at Vinco put on hold for just a little bit. I don't know anything about anything there. I know they made a great product. Kurt really was the heart and soul of that company. But for the time being, I and several other vendors got word that they would not be advertising any longer with us. Now, let me say this. Continue to go to Vinco. Keep the ride going. A fabulous company, and they are welcome back here anytime they want. And, well, I'll tell you this much. See this $249 a month? Vinco was paying twice that. And some of the other ones in the past were paying way more than that too. You could be a sponsor on the show, $249. You could never boost your post or have all your friends share it and reach the amount of people I reach in 90 days, over 1.6 million. Okay? So get on the board just like this. Get your name up there. By the way, Al Roof is not up here just yet. I owe Al Roof and John Hawks a placard like they have back here. In the meantime, when I put it up yesterday that we were offering these up again for $49.95, including a T-shirt, I sold out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right away. And I think it's more like 12. Because some guy said, look, it's not time for mine to come down yet, but I want to do it again. Anyway.
A couple double, like a couple Val, he doubled.
Oh, yeah. A lot of guys just came back. And if you get a hold of me, I got a special too, to where if you don't want to buy another shirt and get some really cool Amsoil stuff, you could just, I'll give you an amount you could pay, you could stay on the board. And it's not $50. It's less. Okay? Don't forget to keep sharing the show, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. We would love for you to tell other people that you're watching it as well. And we're going to have what do we got going on here right now? Oh, we've got a next time try this coming up right now. And I actually think, it's from Oscar. This is a good one. I like this one. Pay attention to what's going on here, guys.
Hello everyone, my name is Oscar, and today I want to share with you a simple and effective way to install your front fork to eliminate binding. One of the things you want to do before you get started is to make sure that your axle is, especially the part that slides into the fork, is very smooth, polished, and I would give it just a little bit of grease, because you will see how this comes into play when we go to align the fork. Okay, now that we have the fork polished and has grease on it, I'm going to install the axle, and we're going to tighten with the pinch bolts loose, we're going to tighten the axle. That brings everything mechanically, the braking plate to the fork, the axle, everything's tight, all the tolerances are gone, and then we're actually going to reverse it, and we're going to crack that nut loose, and leave that loose while we do our alignment and making sure we're not binding the fork. Now that we have the axle installed, and the nut is tightened and then backed off, I want to show you that no fork has a perfect indicated run out, which means if I'm going to rotate the fork tube in the trample clamps, I've got them spaced so it'll spin, and you watch the front axle and you'll notice that the bottom fork leg goes in and out depending on where the indicated run out is. And you can see that as I rotate forward and back. Okay, so now that we know that the fork doesn't have a perfect indicated run out, how are we going to find the sweet spot on this fork that's not going to bind? And what you do is when you're rotating the fork, you'll feel the tension on the fork. It'll be hard to turn, and then in one little spot in the rotation, it's going to be super easy. It means the fork's not binding left, inside to outside. The fork is in a natural spot, so I'm going to rotate that and find that sweet spot. Okay, that's it right there. Okay, now that I've rotated my fork and found the sweet spot where there's no binding, the fork comes into an easy rotation, and it's the spot where the fork isn't trying to push against the wheel hub and it's not going all the way to the outside. It's a sweet spot, and the rotation means everything's in line, and I can float that lower axle when I'm done. What I do is take a little center punch mark, I don't know if you can see that, a little blue paint ink dot, and I put that on there, and I line it up with the split in the triple clamp, and I know that's my sweet spot for the next few months anyways. I'll check that every few months just in case the fork does get tweaked in a different direction. Okay, now that we've rotated the fork and found that simple smooth spot where you get that zero friction, which means everything is centered. And don't forget, the axle's already pulled all the way through. We're not changing where we are in the axle. We're going to find the sweet spot on the lower fork leg, and that's why they even developed a pinch bolt to allow us to lock that down where it's needed. The axle is already pulled all the way through. The next step is to we're going to spin the wheel quickly and then hit the brakes. So we're going to spin the wheel, bang, hit it a couple times, like that, and now that fork leg is not only centered from rotation, but with the brake on and the hub expanded, everything is lined up perfectly, and we can go down and tighten those pinch bolts. So one of the things I can tell that once I've done that, I can tell my brake is basically it's on off. It has very little throw to get it to spin freely and come to a lock. That's good. There's no spongy feeling to this whatsoever. And that's one big benefit of not buying the fork. A, it helps your brakes, and two, it's going to give you an extremely fluid ride instead of that harsh knocking. It's hard to explain, but I've ridden many bikes that are bound, and it's not a pleasant ride. Okay, I do have one more thing. If you've lined it, done everything I told you, and you're still finding a little bit of spongy brake, one little more trick that you can do that I've tried in the past that helps is to use a zip tie, tie that brake down, then take the bike off stand, push the forks through 3 times, then tighten your pinch pulls, then cut the zip tie. That'll help you center on both sides, because some of these forks are double pinch pull, some are single pinch pull, and you're going to have a much more firm brake and a better ride.
There you go. Really valuable information from Oscar. And you know what? I didn't know that trick. I didn't learn that trick until years after I had been racing vintage. So, and that was like in my 40s. But that is really valuable information. Really good stuff from Robert Oscar Pomeroy. We're going to hear from Vinco. We'll be right back.
I'm Steve Wise. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
Classic and vintage dirt bikes are more than a hobby. It's not just about the ride. It's about the work that goes in. The work that keeps you connected to the ride. It's about bringing the bike back to life and doing it with your own hands. It's about the adrenaline and adventure. And when it comes to putting all the pieces together, only Vinco knows the bikes and parts the way you do. Vinco, keep the ride going.
Going at Vinco.com. Look at Kawasaki KX450 pistons in air for the 1974. They come from standard, first, second, and third overbore. That's Vinco.com, and they're $189.95. Love Vinco.com. I would strongly recommend everybody. I mean, it's obvious. You got to keep going back to Vinco. And who knows, maybe we'll get them back here on the show someday as a sponsor. I'd take them back in a minute. Tonight's Moto Showcase is brought to you by Preston Petty Products. Be sure to visit them online at PrestonPettyProducts.com. And we're going to be looking at 2 very special bikes tonight. I'm going to run things a little bit different. We've got this 1979 Honda CR125 tribute bike that I built back in 2005. And we're also going to take a look at something else. We're going to take a look at this bike, a 1980 CR125 tribute bike that I built back at the same time as that silver bike in 1975. And it's going to be a fun show, okay? So let's take a look at this. 1979 Honda CR125 that I built with good reason. I built this bike so that it could be given away, raffled off at an event called Moto. This was an ARMA National in Syracuse, New York, and it was going to happen in 2005. Now, the deal I had with my dear friend Alex Morrow, who's a longtime friend, and we still are friends, is that I was going to build a bike for the event, and they were going to pay me $3,500 for it. And we got about 6 months, maybe 4 months away from the event to where they were supposed to have the money for me, and they did not have it. I took matters into my own hands, and I got to be honest with you. When I saw this bike after I was finished with it, I really didn't want to raffle it off. But a deal is a deal, and they couldn't pay me, so I said, I'm going to make another bike. We're going to raffle that off, and I'm going to give half the money to American Classic Racing, ACR, in the Northeast, and half the money to ARMA, which was my deal with Alex originally, but it will be the Joe Abate's Psychotherapy raffle. It will not go anywhere on the road with the ARMA group. I'll take care of everything, and I did. Now, The bike that I built was a tribute, of course, to Marty Smith, Brad Lackey, and Jim Pomeroy. There's a great picture of Brad with the bike in Syracuse, and it's just about 20 years ago exactly. This tank was airbrushed. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but I do remember the cost back then. It cost me almost $1,500 to have this gas tank painted with beautiful murals of Jim Pomeroy. There he is signing the side. Of course, Brad Lackey. And I think we got a closer look here of Jim Pomeroy. And I don't know why, but I don't have the Marty picture here. But that's okay. Believe me, Marty's picture is on there. There's the engine. It was all rebuilt. I rebuilt the pipe. Many parts on it were brand new directly from a dealer. I had the frame painted silver. Buchanan did the rims at that time. Those are the stock shocks. Basically a stock bike with the exception of the front wheel. I did not go with the 23-inch front wheel that went on a 79 Honda CR125. But it was a very special bike. I owned this bike from that time, 2005, right up until about, it's 2025, right around 2018, I sold this bike. And Jim, of course, was already gone, and I do have to say, I was glad I didn't own the bike when Marty and Nancy passed away. It was not here. It was in the hands of, I forget the gentleman's name. It's been quite a few years. Ridgetop Restoration. I think the guy was a KX guru sort of guy, always restored KXs. But one day, I put it for sale. I was asking $7,000 for it. He bought it straight away, no questions asked. And that was it. And that's the Moto Showcase bike for tonight, but with good reason, because I want to show you the other bike a little bit later on in the show. Right now, I have Preston Petty stuff right here. Yeah, get over to PrestonPettyProducts.com. Get yourself some grips, shirts, hats, of course, fenders, taillights, and all sorts of other really cool stuff at PrestonPettyProducts.com. Thank you, Steve Grandis from Bultaco East. Hey, Steve Grandis, if you're watching the show or anybody knows Steve, I mentioned something a little bit earlier, that our rates now are $249.95. That's $249.95. Steve Grandis, when you come back in September, in fact, you should do it now because you've got a lot of money and it's less anyway. Your new rate is $249.95. That's $249.95. Got it, Steve? Come on. All right? Trivia, my favorite part of the show. Sue,
Yeah.
what are we giving away in trivia tonight? No one will ever guess.
Oh, we're giving away this lovely poster.
Look at that. 24 by 18 poster, Jim and Jimmy Weiner and Tony DiStefano. We're going to give that away. And, I want to mention a little bit later on, too, that we've got the $49.95 special, but that's already up there. And let me not convolute things here at all. The trivia contest is brought to you by Motorcyclist Illustrated. That's Mike McCook. Be sure to visit Motorcyclist Illustrated on Facebook, okay? This is a call-in contest only. Do not put the answer in the comments section. You will spoil it for everyone else, and you will all be put on timeout, all right, if you do that. So call me. Don't type it in. Here it is. Here's the poster one more time. 18 by 24, okay? Here comes the question, guys. This is a really good one. He was an FIM European 125 motocross champion in 1973 and 1974. Name him and the bike. You'll have to cover the entire alphabet. That is a big hint. He was an FIM European 125 MX champion in 73 and 74. Name him and the bike, and you will be the winner of this poster. I gave you a huge, huge hint, all right? Dave Boyden, did you see him last weekend from Mid-Ohio? He had that camera sticking out of his head like he was on ABC's Wide World of Sports. I thought Rune Arledge and Howard Cosell were going to be right alongside him. I really did. Absolutely unbelievable coverage from Dave Boyden. What I'd like you to do is follow Dave Boyden on Facebook. All right. He's got some really great stuff, not only, of course, from Mid-Ohio, but just really, really cool stuff every day. Dave sent in a bike to us. He's been giving us some really good stuff over the past 6 months or so that we've been showing you here on Vintage Motocross Q&A. And I've got something, what do we got from Dave this week? Dave? Oh, Dave. What the heck did we do with it? Oh, Joey. Joey. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys.
Good morning, this is Dave from AMS again in my storage shed. Told you I was going to show you some things I haven't shown you before. If it was 1971, late in 71, and it was about 72, and they were just about to come out with the XL250 Honda Motorsport, you could look at a Cycle Guide magazine on the cover, and you will see this bike. It had a yellow gas tank and no front fender on it there. The Desert Champion tank was on it. This is the Champion frame with the XL250. This is the very first one they built. This is the one that was used in the magazine. They even used the CV carburetor off the later big bore, maybe 450 Honda or something. That was a hot tip, I guess, to do. I just kind of made it into a multicolored bike years ago. It had these inner AM solid aluminum handlebars on it back then. That's a real gunner gasser on there. It used the stock wheels right off the bike, and it's got Trelleborg tires on the front for sure. And that's a full bore tire on the back. I was like, what's the name of that tire? That's a full bore tire on the rear. Looks like a Kernut shock painted black and silver. Don't know if what's done to the motor. Obviously we got a carburetor and we got a pipe on it. But this is the bike that's on the cover of the magazine. When I got the bike, I got it from a dude who worked at the magazine. The magazine of this issue was sticking in the rear frame rail right here when I got the bike. That's an unusual piece. Based on the XL250 Honda Motorsport, Champion frame #1, and the bike on the cover of Cycle Illustrated.
There you have it. Dave Boardson with another great bike brought to us from AMS. Don't forget, follow Dave Boardson on Facebook. I have a winner on the phone. It's the only call we got. Let's see who it is. This is Joe Abbate. You're live on the air at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Who am I speaking to?
George Camacho.
George Camacho. You know, you were the first guy that called, and so far you're the only guy that called. And I think, George, if I'm not mistaken, did you win a couple of weeks ago?
I won last week.
Last week. Okay. Now you have there's a poster on the way to you. I don't know if you received it yet. If you didn't, you're probably going to get it tomorrow. Now, if you like, would you like to have some Amsoil, maybe a mag light or something like that from Amsoil?
Sure. A mag light.
Yeah, it looks like about the shape of a pen, but it's a little bit longer. Here, you know what? Are you watching the show?
Yes.
Susie, let me have that mag light. All right, George. Here it is on the screen. See it?
Yeah.
It's got got the light up front, mag light, right? And it extends like this, and it's magnetic. All right? All right, listen, thank you for calling, George. And I don't know, sometimes I guess I should say that if you've won in the last week or something like that, not to call. But that's okay, because nobody else called in, and did I even, you know what I didn't do so far, George? I don't think I asked you what the answer to the question was.
It was Andre Maller, a Belgian, on a Zundap.
You're right. It was Andre Maller. There he is. And he was on a Zundap. There's a picture of it right there. I get so excited about giving stuff away that I forgot to give the answer to the question. Maller began racing at an early age, earned a license in 73, rode a Zundap, and he won the 73 125 and 74 125 Motocross Championship. Hey, George, thanks for being a good sport, and congratulations. We'll get you that mag light, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, George.
All right.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Joey gives away another mag light. All right. And do we generally have a commercial here? Because I'll tell you the truth, I'd like to run one. No, we don't have a commercial. All right. You know what? The show must go on. Next up, here's the problem, brought to you by Motion Pro. Be sure to visit them online at motionpro.com. And don't forget, here it is. Don't forget that it's 20% off across the board at Motion Pro. Use the code MP9135. That's MP9135. All right, here comes the first question and the only question of the night. Hi, Joe. I have one in Europe. I posted a picture of a Harley the other day, and Dave Wainwright responded with this. I have one in Europe. I am about to restore it. It's been ridden and loved by previous owners. So now I think he was meant to say. So now is the time for a refurb. Do you have any tips? I have restored a few different bikes in my collection, so not unused to doing one. Okay. You can't really see it that clearly here. Oh, wait, maybe you can. Here's a picture of the bike that Wainwright was talking about. And Dave Wainwright was talking about. And it didn't look like it was in very bad shape at all, Dave. I don't know if it's just a picture, but the forks look possibly bent. They look like they're kind of pushed in from the front. But from the rest that I could see, yeah, the bars are bent, but it looks like a lot of original and correct parts are on this bike. That is a big plus. One thing that I can guarantee you would be extremely difficult to find, rather unusual, the cylinder head. Not the cylinder, but the cylinder head. However, you've got most of the parts there, and if you want to get a hold of me, you can do that, and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction with a few dealers that I know that still may have some stuff. I mean, way back when I did it, I was finding NOS tanks and NOS cylinders and top end. They still may be some out there, but I could put you in touch with some people who can help you with that. That was the last bike I moved to California from my home in New Jersey. I love that room back on my house there in Paramus. And yeah, it was one of the 3 Harleys that I owned. This is the one I brought to California with me. And I guess it was a couple of years after I moved here, I put this one for sale too. And someone back in Pennsylvania bought it. And there it is, loaded up, ready to go back to the East Coast. I want to thank you for sending that question in. And again, contact me. I'll put you in touch with some people that'll be able to help you restore that Harley with parts. And of course, I'll do anything I can to do that as well. Okay. Here's the problem segment was brought to you by Motion Pro. Sure to visit them online at motionpro.com. And don't forget to use the code MP9135 to get 20% off across the board. Thank you, Russell Waters and AMSOIL, for the generous gifts that you give us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A that we can give away. And this is part of our $49.95 package now, okay? You're going to get the 10mm emergency socket kit, the telescopic mag light, 2 koozies, that magnetic little cup that's really handy alongside your bike when you're working on it, and you're going to get some stickers too. You also are going to get, when you take that package of $49.95, you're going to get the poster that we talked about a little bit earlier, this one right here. You're going to get a poster like that. So you're going to get a shirt, a poster. You're going to get all this cool swag from AMSOIL, and everything is going to be good in your life. Thank you, Russell Waters. Be sure to visit them online at amsoil.com, or if you want to buy some stuff directly from Russell Waters, go to www.theoilpeople.shopamsoil.com. Very excited. This Saturday, Ted Boyko and I beginning to record our expansion chamber segments, okay? We're going to record them, then we're going to have them on the show every week. Ted Boyko, old school. This guy worked at DG. He is an amazing tuner, has built some engines of some of the fastest 125s and 250s that you've ever seen in motocross, and he is also, I don't know how many national championships his jockeys, do you call them, or drivers of water skis have won. So yeah, he's a real jet ski guy too. So when it comes to crank, porting, pistons, all the tricks and tips, Ted Boyko is going to be on, and we're going to have him right here on the show. You're going to absolutely love it. We are going to take a commercial break right now. We're going to hear from the International Motocross Museum, and we'll be right back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A.
I'm Gary Semix, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Abbate.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom. We raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
The International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Be sure to visit them online at internationalmotocrossmuseum.org. Everything you buy or donate to the International Motocross Museum is 100% tax deductible. You know what this is? This is a 100,000 square foot floor plan for the International Motocross Museum that has been revised. And baby, it is something to see. Now, I realize you can't see all the little details that are in here, but believe me, it's something special. We've been working on this for a while now. And since the first floor plan, we revised a few things and it's absolutely spectacular. I want to thank Mike Secor for being such a huge help to Terry Good and I when throughout the changes that we've made. This, what you saw right here, this is the cover of the new pitch book from the International Motocross Museum. In the next couple of days, you are going to see the pitch book on Facebook, and it's going to be online. It's going to be on the website. It'll be just about everywhere we have access to, and there's going to be huge information in there. Bikes are already being brought over to the building itself. New lighting has been put in. The floors are epoxied. It is absolutely spectacular, and we're going to be telling you more as we go on. This is happening, fellas. It's happening enough to where I'm looking at moving boxes. Let's say that, okay? Just one price. You could become a Vintage Motocross Q&A sponsor, $249.95. Get your name up on the board behind me. This is less than a third. This is a third of what some people were paying just several years ago. It certainly is half of what they had been paying recently. Look, I'm interested in getting some people up on the board. I want to get the word out there. We hit 1,000,006 people, 1,600,000 people every 90 days. It's going up exponentially, okay? We were doing 20, 40, 60,000 people a week. We're doing over 150, 175,000 a week that we've been reaching, okay? So Full Circle Racing just got a discount. Bultaco East just got a discount, okay? If we don't get some sponsors up here at this 249, I can't go any lower. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just make everything available for $50 to people who want to buy a shirt and get their name up on board. And you know what that'll do for me? I'll put 50 of those people up there. I'll make more money putting 50 people up there at $50 and recycling it than I will from the sponsors. But I don't really want to do that, okay? Let's get the sponsors up there so we can help their business grow and we can give you a really cool show here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. What's it worth? What's Worth is brought to you by Full Circle Racing. This is part of the show where I ask you, the viewers at home, to guess how much you think this bike recently sold for, and you will win 2 stickers, 2 Vintage Motocross Q&A stickers, compliments of Susie Creates and Vintage Motocross Q&A. All right. Now, this is the bike I was talking about earlier. Way back in 2005, when Arma or Alex Moros, when things went a little sideways for them, and they couldn't pay me $3,500 for this bike right here, which is absolutely spectacular, I said I would run the raffle, and you're going to get a different bike. And I gave him this one. Nothing to sneeze at. 1980 CR125. All together, all there. An original parts looking bike. I mean, from the structural standpoint of an original bike. But I decided to paint everything white, polish the rims, and that tank is plastic, and I lined it over 20 years ago. There isn't a bubble in it. Okay? On the side of the bike, you got Marty Smith's picture. There's the autograph from Marty Smith. Here is Brad Lackey autograph. And this bike wound up at Brad Lackey's house just before I saw it last weekend. All right. And I'm going to tell you about that in a second. Here's a picture of Brad, Marty, and Jimmy exactly 20 years ago today. Not 20 years ago today, but 20 years ago, I think it was this month at the Moto Cuse event. It was an ARMA National. I built the bike. That's where it started to get some traction, and we were selling tickets there. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, everybody loved the bike, and that's what happened. I started selling tickets throughout the summer. I dragged the bike to all the ARMA Nationals. Was that 20? Yeah, I took the bike to all the ARMA Nationals with me, and I sold tickets. Now, in this picture is yours truly to the left. In the middle, a gentleman named Philip Hamilton, and to his right in the picture, a gentleman named Jeremy Craig. Jeremy Craig was the owner of this bike prior to this gentleman in the middle, Philip Hamilton, who just purchased it, okay? Philip Hamilton is a serious collector, guys. He has over 120 pristine Hondas in his collection. You would never be able to find this place if I told you about it, all right? It's an incredible, very humble looking place from the outside. He does planning on opening up and making it a museum to the public someday. There is an extension out the back because he has an obsession with tractors as well. All right, so he's got 120 or so motorcycles, all Hondas, all pristine, all perfect with titles and keys, and they all run. Check this out. 1953 and a 1954 Honda Bentley. It's when they first came out, 53 and 54. He's got the first 2 years right there. And, oh yeah, got some SLs and CTs and some other really cool stuff as well. So they're very serious about their collection. This is the Honda white bike when it was back in my garage, just after it was sent out west. Now, let's get that clear, okay? And I am going to take some time and slow down a little bit here on the show. We were selling tickets. I sold tickets to anybody that wanted to buy them. What I should have done is what you hear on radio stations and television stations. Members of the Joe Abbate family, anybody that works for Joe Abbate Psychotherapy, anybody that is friends with Joe Abbate is not eligible to be in the contest. I didn't do that. I gave this bike away on September 25th in Englishtown, New Jersey at the Kawasaki Race of Champions. I was in the tower during intermission, and there was a little girl in that tower named Elise. Rick Travelise, who is still an announcer there till this day, was up there calling the play-by-play. I asked Elise to take this box with all the tickets in it, throw it up in the air, go on the floor, and pick out a ticket. She did that. When she stood up and handed Rich Travelise the ticket, and he said, the winner is Nancy Smith, my jaw nearly hit the floor. Now, some people, because they're not very bright, said, the fix is in. The Smiths won the bike. Let me explain something to you. I'm an Italian guy from Jersey. If I was going to create a scam and run some kind of caper, I can assure you that when I did it, I wouldn't let somebody who I knew personally, who was somewhat of a celebrity, win the bike. It was as legit as the day is long. 8 months later, Marty Smith calls me up. Joe, I don't want the bike. There's no place to keep it. It's all white. I can't ride it. Would you sell the bike for me? Yes, Marty, I will. I put the bike on eBay. It sold for $7,000 to a gentleman named Brian Stolle in San Jose, California, who later became a customer of mine. 2 years ago, Jeremy Craig, on the right, in the red Honda shirt, bought the bike. I didn't ask him how much he paid for the bike. I think it was over $7,000, though. We're going to continue on with a little video. In the meantime, I want you to keep in mind that this bike did sell. You're looking at it right here. You know the history of it, okay? And look, Dave Boydston was even involved back then. See AMX, Arizona Motorcycle Service. I remember he donated the silencer. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at the video that I made last week from Jeremy, and then we're going to take a look at the video I made from Phil, and we'll know a little bit more about the bike, and you'll get a good idea of what's going on. And then don't forget, you're going to guess how much this bike recently sold for from Jeremy to Phil. Here we go. Well, I finally made it inside, and I've got the people involved with me who have owned this bike previously and who own it presently. We're going to speak to the previous owner right now. If we turn the camera over this way, we've got Jeremy Craig. Jeremy, thanks for taking some time to talk to me today about this bike.
Very welcome.
I have not seen it in just about 25 years. It went through a few sets of hands before it got here today. When did you get the bike?
I acquired the bike several years ago from the third owner, technically.
Okay.
And I've had it in my collection up until just the last 2 weeks when the new owner took possession of it. It's been a wonderful bike to have in my collection, as you well know. It's an attention getter. Everybody always asks about it. So it certainly was a conversation piece in my collection. It has quite a story to go with it beyond that.
It does.
Yes.
It does. And when you say you were the third owner, I'm going to jump in here right now and you know what? Let's get it on the record of exactly how
Let's clarify this.
How this all went
Absolutely.
down. I raffled this bike off in 2025, and it was at Englishtown, New Jersey, after I had taken it all over the country racing nationals. How I wound up doing that was Armour, the regional coordinator for Armour, was supposed to buy the bike from me for a race in New York State and raffle it off there. His name is Alex Morrows. We came to a price. It was supposed to be $3,500. When the time came, they weren't raising the money they thought they were going to raise, and I said, I'll take the raffle, I'll handle it, and I'll get you the money. We built the bike. I ran around with it. We sold tickets. I got Brad and Marty and Jim Pomeroy to sign the bike at that event that weekend. And oddly enough, weirdly enough, when it came time to pick the ticket, which was in Englishtown, New Jersey, there was a little girl in the tower at Englishtown. I was up there. Rich Travelise was on the microphone, famous announcer from down that way. We have the little girl throw the box up in the air. Tickets are all over the floor. She reaches down, hands me the ticket, or hands Rich Travelise the ticket, and they say, Nancy Smith. Well, you can only imagine the heat that I got.
Absolutely.
From that.
Absolutely.
But believe me, a guy from Jersey running a caper isn't going to make one of his friends win the bike.
Right.
Okay. She wins the bike.
So we have that clear now.
So we have that clear. The bike comes home with me. A shipper picks it up. They bring it out to Marty Smith. Maybe a year goes by. Marty calls me. I have to sell this bike. I can't ride it. It's beautiful. Well, what am I going to do with it? You know all about it. Why don't you sell the bike? Okay. Put the bike on eBay. Brian Stoley, who you technically bought the bike from, we'll get into that.
Correct.
Bought the bike for $7,000. He didn't go pick it up at Marty's house, which was part of the deal. I put it on eBay and said, do you want to meet Marty Smith? Do you want to own a bike? He didn't want to meet Marty. He bought the bike. He stored it in a barn in Gilroy for many years.
Yeah.
Enter you when he's going to sell the bike through somebody that works for him. Who'd you buy the bike from?
A gentleman named Joshua Heller, who, as you said, worked for Brian.
Yeah.
And his son actually was the one who listed it on Marketplace. I negotiated a deal with them and purchased the bike, and I've had it in my collection ever since. Well, like I said, up until the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Now, the odd thing is, Phil, who we're going to have on in a minute,
yes,
purchased the bike from you. You and your dad are nice enough to deliver the bike from, where do you live?
I'm in Nevada City.
Nevada City.
Yeah.
So you're on your way down, but you stop at Brad Lackey's house.
Yes.
And you want to have the story from Brad Lackey on video.
Yes.
So you stop by Brad, and you're going to see him in the next morning. You guys are in a hotel in Little Sleepy, Pleasant Hill, California.
Yes.
What happens?
Well, so we arrived in the hotel about 11 o'clock, closer to midnight, and about 2 hours later, I got a phone call from the police department on my cell phone, and simultaneously got a call on the hotel phone from the manager saying that my truck had been broken into.
A trailer or pickup? What was it?
Yeah, a flatbed truck, and I had a enclosed trailer that the motorcycle was in.
Okay.
It was all locked up. I had a really beefy padlock on it.
Right.
And I actually backed the truck and trailer up to a retaining wall so that there was no room to open the door, get in, and get anything. I thought I was in a safe part of town.
Yeah.
The hotel
It
was
is,
very well
generally
lit
it
up.
is.
Yeah, it is. You're right. And but you know, the hotel was lit up. security cameras, and I did everything I could. So I thought, I would sleep peacefully that night, but nope. 2 hours later, I go running out there, and first thing I happened upon was my truck. Truck looks fine, and I thought, oh no. Instantly, my heart just dropped.
Sure.
Because the most valuable thing was not the truck, it was what was in the trailer.
It made me think when you told me the story that somebody may have known this is the bike, this is where they're going, I'm going to get that bike. So I thought it was like a person who really wanted to steal this motorcycle.
Absolutely, and I actually didn't want to draw any attention, so I rented a U-Haul specifically for this trip. I just thought it'd be less conspicuous that way. Sure. I don't know if that was right or wrong, but that was my thought process in the moment. And but like I said, I had it securely locked up and backed up against the retaining wall. So apparently these two individuals came in the middle of the night, saw a U-Haul trailer, and just decided, hey, let's open it up and see what's in there. They had just recently, came to find out later, had just recently cased a construction site and stolen a bunch of tools and things from them, right. One of which was the grinder they used to cut the lock to get into the trailer. So as they had to lift it up over a retaining wall that I had backed up to, so there was only so much space between the top of the trailer and the retaining wall. They were able to lift it up over miraculously without damaging the bike. I wouldn't even think they'd put that kind of care into it, but they got it over. They were in the process of loading it into the back of a van when a police officer happened to stop in, and he was just en route and wanted to check the hotel and make sure everything was okay. Saw something that didn't look right, and so he flipped the lights. According to the officer, the two gentlemen went running at that point, and he got out of his vehicle and went in pursuit of them. Along the way, chasing them through the woods and over the fence, they ended up scaling the fence and crossing the Highway 680, which at that point is about 12 lanes wide.
Who called you? Did the police call the hotel, or did the police call you because of the registration on the truck?
Because of the registration on the truck, the police called my cell phone, and that was the first phone call I got.
What time was that?
That was at 2:30 in the morning, and within minutes of that, then the hotel called.
So you keep your phone on?
Yeah.
2:30 in the morning. I wouldn't know about that until 7:30 the next morning when I woke up.
I was definitely confused. We had just gone to sleep, and then with the two phone calls at the same time, I knew something was up. So I ran out in quite a panic, that's for sure. I actually had to wave to all the officers as I was approaching, because I didn't want them to think something else, like they were being charged by somebody. I had quite an energy at that point.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So after that, the police officer, he stopped pursuing him at the highway. It was too dangerous for him to try and run across 12 lanes of traffic. Apparently the individuals made it across, but left their vehicle with the bike in it, keys in the ignition, etc. So the officers were nice enough to help us unload the bike out of the back of the van. Fortunately, they were in the process of loading it. If they had gotten it all the way in, this bike would have been sitting on top of jackhammers and other construction tools. Again, would have destroyed the finish of this beautiful bike.
And at that point, the police know it's your motorcycle, and they give it back to you on the spot?
Basically.
Because I'm saying to myself, because they never arrested anyone.
Right.
So there's no charges being pressed, and you can't press charges, and nobody knows anybody from anybody.
Well, actually, I did press charges, and we're still waiting to hear back as far as that. It's an open investigation.
Right.
Not sure how far they got. They could only disclose so much assessment, and finished up with the officers.
You got it back.
We had it back, but and hotel management was nice enough to let us park it in the manager's office for the evening.
Let me ask you this. You got the bike back.
Yeah.
You probably didn't get much sleep that night. The next day, you're at Brad Lackey's house.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of find out about this whole transaction. Lackey sends me a picture on my phone of this bike, and I know it's sitting in front of his house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that bike doing there? And he tells me about, you sold it, you wanted to stop by, you talked to him about it, and I guess you took some videos of Brad with the bike.
Yeah.
And then you sold it to a gentleman named Phil.
Yes.
Which this is his place.
Yes.
So tell me about the couple of minutes quickly about what Brad had to say. And one other thing I wanted to know from you is, Where's your connection to motocross? Is this something that you're into?
I was born and raised in the industry. Yeah, my father was a mechanic for most of his life. He started off as a BMW mechanic, a European motorcycle mechanic in the Bay Area at Selby Motors. And then he moved on to becoming a Honda certified mechanic after that, and then eventually moved up into Nevada City, where he started his own motorcycle business. And so I was riding motorcycles before I could even walk. Yeah, my parents used to put us in the kangaroo pouches and take us for a ride on the three-wheelers.
I had to ask, because you're a young guy, and it's not every day guys and younger people just aren't into vintage motocross stuff. They might be into old bikes, but I thought it was kind of strange when, of course, I spoke to your dad and I understood that connection. But then he said, no, you want to speak to my son Jeremy about this. He's the one that really knows about the bike and how it all went down. And I'll tell you, Jeremy, I know this bike, after 20 years, how it's been preserved so well. You did an absolutely phenomenal job of keeping this bike.
Thank you.
I mean, it looks like pretty much the day I finished it, with the exception of the tires. They were a little dry rotted. They're not quite as red as they were when I put it together. They were about as red as the seat. But you've done an absolutely incredible job of preserving it and preserving the history of it too.
Thank you.
Now, you know what I want to do?
Yes, sir.
He doesn't want to come on camera, but you and I are going to go persuade Phil into coming out here and talking about this bike and maybe a little bit about this tractor collection and 120 Hondas. Will you help me out there?
Sounds great.
Come with me. There you have it. Jeremy and the story of the white bike, how it was almost stolen, how it changed hands a couple of times. And this, we're still running here with the What's It Worth segment. So now that you saw that, keep putting in your best guess on what you think this bike sold for. And we're going to get to that after we hear from Phil. So if you haven't put your best guessing in on what you think this bike recently sold for, hang on to your hat there for just a minute. Okay, and then we're going to do it at the end. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from, we're going to hear from Full Circle Racing. All right, we'll be right back.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle Racing wheels prepped by Tom McAllister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run Full Circle Racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McAllister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McAllister at Full Circle Racing today.
Thank you, Jerry Maddox, who was crowned 125cc ARMA national champion for the third time. We'll get back to that a little bit later on in the show. But right now, I want to get back to the white bike, and I want to get back to Phil Hamilton, who owns this an absolutely incredible collection here. I'm going to give you a little view of this. There's Phil and some of his Hondas. He's also a big tractor aficionado. And just every Honda in there is beautiful. So are his tractors. Some really, really incredible stuff. So Jeremy and I did wind up getting down there and getting Phil to decide to come on camera and talk a little about why he wanted this bike and his collection. It's not that long. He's not exactly as chatty as maybe Jeremy and I were. But let's see what Phil had to say. And then after we get back, I will be looking at what you think this bike recently sold for, and the winner of the What's It Worth segment tonight will get a couple of stickers. Or maybe I'll give you something else. Maybe I'll give you some other cool stuff, okay? It's been a long segment. It's been a lot of fun. Check this out. Phil Hamilton and I. So it's just a very unusual thing. You don't think of chrome when you think of a tractor. What year is it and how many of these were there?
That's a 1939.
Yeah.
And the first 500 or 600 that they manufactured, they couldn't get the steel, so they made them in aluminum to go to a big show.
I got you.
And that's where, so they're very rare with that.
We could talk about the tractors and the collection of bikes that you got here, but I'm here to talk to you about that white bike. Will you come down there and...
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it's really interesting how, you know, Jeremy explained how it got into your hands, but I would like the people to know why why did you buy this thing? And what you thought about it and what your plan is for it for the future.
Okay.
So let's talk about that, Phil. Where did you see it for sale? What happened after that?
Well, I really didn't see it for sale.
Okay.
I bought 3 or 4 bikes from Jeremy's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And in the conversation going through setting up this private collection, Jeremy's dad said, well, maybe I can help. Which is, by the way, most of the gentlemen that I have bought bikes from, and ladies both, they have been so helpful trying to help us decide what's good for the Macy collection. And so he said, you know, I think one of the prime things for that whole collection would be this bike. He explained it to me and said his son had it sitting at his house. And he said, I'm telling you, I think that this is what you need to have one of the very best items when they walk in, and has the greatest story.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about them. There's 3 great racers. I mean, it's just historical.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's work it out and let's do it. And Jeremy was so helpful. He's so knowledgeable with it, and he's helping me in this. I was not a racer, but I love Hondas and the collection, and so we're setting a whole piece of this up, and Jeremy is representing us and trying to make this all marketed better so everybody to see it. It's just a beautiful bike.
How many Hondas do you have in this collection right now? About
110.
And you're looking to grow it how big?
About 140 or 150, right?
Okay.
there, yeah.
Now we're down in here in Merced, and we're not going to really give the location of where it is right now. Eventually, the public may know about it. The other thing I wanted to know is you're going to have this in a special display with other motocross bikes that you're purchasing?
That's correct, yeah. But we're standing it out by itself because it stands out.
Yeah.
Every person that walks in, so far, they go right to this bike every time because it has the pictures of the great racers on it, the color. They just stop and look at it. It stops them right there. Because most of the other bikes are different colors, different shapes, but nothing looks like this.
Yeah.
So this is a centerpiece.
Well,
it's terrific, and we're so pleased with it, yeah.
Would you give me a little tour of the rest of the place up there? Phil, thanks for taking the time to speak to me, but you know what? I'm not letting you go. Come with me, because I got a lot of questions about some other stuff that you got out here.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, guys. You've heard the whole story on how I built the bike back in 2005, how it was autographed, how it went from my hands to Marty Smith's, and from there to Brian Stolley, and Stolley's helper, worker, Josh, sold the bike to Jeremy Craig and his dad. And from there, Jeremy Craig went to deliver the bike. It was nearly stolen. Brad did see the bike again, so there's a video of him floating around now. Now, there you have it. All the history, all the inside information, everything you could ever want to know about the infamous white bike. But now, what I want to know from you is, how much do you think that bike recently sold for? It sold the first time for $7,000, 19 years ago. How much? 8, 9, 12? How much? 14? That bike sold for $15,000. $15,000. I got that directly from Phil Hamilton. That's how much he paid Jeremy for that motorcycle. $15,000. Okay. So now I don't know who got the closest to 15,000. Probably nobody went over 15,000. But whoever got the closest to 15,000, if we want to take a moment to do this, because I really want to get the person.
Well, so
what do we got?
the highest was Steve Allen at 17,000.
Who?
Steve Allen.
He's over by 2,000.
And then the closest next to that is for
Sandy Wiener at 10,000. 10.5, Doug Nemeth.
there's 11 from Russell.
Yeah.
He said 10.5, 11.5, he said. And Tyler McGregor said 12.5.
Anybody higher than Tyler?
No, other than Philip Liberty said 12.
Right.
Tyler McGregor said 12.5.
Right. That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Those are both really good guesses. I am going to send stickers to Tyler McGregor and Phil Liberty. Okay?
Yeah.
Tyler McGregor, Phil Liberty, you both want some stickers from Vintage Motocross Q&A. The actual sale price of that bike was $15,000. Okay?
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm going to show you one more picture. There it is right here. I met Brad Lackey a few times before this. I met Jim Pomeroy a few times before this. I had never been in the company of Jim Pomeroy and Brad Lackey together, and I never met Marty Smith. Well, this was the day, and I can remember when this picture was taken. I kid you not, folks, I did not feel the ground under my feet. I did not.
Good relationship with him from that day forward.
I had a great relationship with Marty. Jimmy stayed at my house several times. I stayed at Marty's house a few times, and Brad Lackey and I continue to be good friends until this day. So there it is. That's the inside scoop on the white bike, on the silver bike, how it all went down on film for eternity. Thank you, Ben Thomas and Vintage Mini Bike Podcast. I love your little show. And you know what, guys? If you're into mini bikes, and I'm not talking about XR75s and YZ80s, I'm talking about the one like on your grandfather had a mower engine on a pipe frame, that kind of mini bike. Get over to Ben's Mini Bike Podcast. Great little show. Okay? What else we got going on here today? Full circle commercial I already ran. We are already down.
You need to do.
Oh, you didn't give me the random viewer appreciation guy.
No, I didn't.
Who is that?
It's Troy Garrett.
Troy Garrett. Troy Garrett. Message us your address. You will win a Maglite, compliments of Russell Waters and Vintage Motocross Q&A.
Where did you guess that?
And George Camacho is going to get.
Did you see anything from George Lucas?
George Lucas?
Yeah, I don't.
Why? What did he say?
He said he guessed 14. I don't see anything from him.
I'll tell you what. Stickers, they're cheap. George Lucas, send me your address. You'll get 2 Vintage Motocross Q&A stickers too.
He didn't guess it.
Did he guess it or no?
No.
Well, then who said he did?
He said.
George Lucas. He's from Jersey. I think he's wearing a caper. George Lucas is a good guy. An incredible polishing person for delicate chrome. Really, really amazing guy. All right, we're getting down to the announcements. Here we go. The announcements are brought to you by the International Motocross Museum. I mentioned it earlier, Northern California Motocross Reunion. It's happening on October 18th. It happens down there in Del Viaga Park, Santa Cruz, California. You might want to get some hotel reservations before it's too late, okay? There's a reception at 3. It goes on till 7. There's a list of incredible legendary racers that were there. This is, of course, all to raise money for the Road to Recovery. I will be your MC that day. George Ackerman, he's got an event coming up too. Another, actually, this is a free event. This isn't even for charity. George puts out the food. He puts out the drinks. He's got a beautiful museum, and he's got a mini museum too. In the past, and I think this time he's going to have Warren Reed, Steve Wise, and Barry Higgins there. In the past, he's had me, Martina Faltoba-Cope, and just an all-around good time there in Ruther Glen, Virginia. Never too early to talk about the Vintage Trials and the motocross race that will happen at Rattler's Run, okay? That happens at Rattler's Run. It is in ARMA National. Go to arma.org to know more about it. The trial school is on Friday, September 12th, and then there's motocross and post-vintage motocross throughout the weekend. Zor Motocross Park. They've got an event coming up, too, to happen September 27th and 28th. August is just around the corner, guys. So this basically, well, this is about 60 days out. All right? But you want to get ready, and it's never a bad time to get ready for a vintage motocross race. I mentioned it earlier in the show. One of the guys who helps us out here is Jerry Maddox. We kind of sponsor him, and he uses our show to get the word out. He's also out there with his camera bringing us some really, really great content. I don't think this still picture is from last weekend, but Jerry just locked up his 3rd ARMA 125cc Expert Championship. Okay? And if you think that's a trophy he's holding, well, how about this? Come on. Jerry and his lovely bride, Tammy Maddox, to the victor go the spoils, as they say. Congratulations, Jerry Maddox. Thank you for being such a good supporter of Vintage Motocross Q&A, a content creator, and just having a great time out there with Clunker, your boy Ryder, and having a wonderful time on that bike. And you know who makes that bike run really good? Butch Sandgrath from Butcher's Garage. Thank you, guys. One more time, $249.95 a month gets you a spot right here on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Your logo will go right there. It'll go up on the board behind me, and you'll be reaching over 1 million, probably in the next month. It'll be up to $2 million, $2 million, 2 million viewers every 90 days. Okay. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Gino, come on, Gino. That was a good one. That was a good move there, Jeans. All right. Who do you love? You love Rocco? You love me? Okay. That's it. We're wrapping up here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thanks, everybody.